So today I'd like to talk about how to survive the corporate environment in a Japanese company. Now there are a number of factors to this, depending on your level in the organization. Now let's, for starters, say that you're joining a team in an entry position. Now, that would mean you need to be able to speak Japanese fluently and also, probably, for the people who are watching this, have English ability as well. So you're going to be given a little bit of kind of like leeway because you're covering two functions within the organization, English and Japanese, most likely. However, you're going to have to deal with your colleagues, Japanese colleagues in particularly. So, for example, finish at 6 at your contract. What do? Do you sit there and wait for the boss to go home or for your supervisor to go home before you do, or do you just go home every day? There's a few ways around that. First one is come in early before everybody else and make it known that you come in early. So let's say everybody starts at 9, but you come in at 7:45. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes early, but you make sure that it's known that you came home 1 hour and 15 minutes early by having emails ready to go out on the dot when you come in, letting them know that you were on the ball before everybody else. Then at 6 o'clock when you want to go home, you go home. There's a bit of a balance there. Or you could not do that and start from 9 a.m. the same as everybody else, and then run the gauntlet of every single day waiting to see who's doing what and what's going on, and who just wants to sit at their desk until 9 p.m. And if every single day you go home at 6, it's totally cool. It's totally fine. In some situations you'll get away with it. 99% of the time in a Japanese organization, even in a gaishike, which is a kind of a hybrid between a Western and Japanese company, but they're like offices in Japan, you're not going to get away with it for very long, because people are going to be like, well, you're not committed to this. You go home early every day and I have to cover your stuff and whatever. You might be working your arse off from 9 o'clock in the morning all the way through to 6 p.m. and maybe not even taking your lunch break. But all the people see, especially in your team, especially if you're a junior player in your team, is that you went home early. The other people in your team might not do anything for the first 2 hours that they're in the office. They might just mess around on their telephones, or they might just chat with the other people in the office, or whatever it might be, or have meetings which have absolutely no meaning whatsoever. But they're saving work up for later in the afternoon. So this video is an approach to a younger, more junior position within a Japanese team, in a Japanese company, or within a Western Japanese hybrid company, depending on the industry that you're in. And the approach to it would be is look at other ways that you can be more dedicated in your team, rather than just staying die hard to the last person to go home every single night. And there are ways to do that. So one is, like I said, come to the office earlier than everybody else and make it known. When you go home at night, write some emails about things that you know which are coming up for the day before and put them into the draft. Now then, set your alarm when you wake up in the morning. The very first thing you do is pick your telephone up and press send for those emails which are in your draft box. Then everybody is thinking, okay, these emails went out at 6 o'clock in the morning. Wow, you must have been working since 5 a.m. Do things to make it look like you are committed to time which you have not been committed to, but you did look like you've been committed to because of your email train or whatever it might be. Make sure you work smart. Now, this is just from the junior side of things. As you move through and you do more senior jobs, there are other things and other ways and other things that you should consider. And one simple one is, and there's going to be a lot of people going to hate on me for this, but for example, if you're an executive and you go for an overseas business trip, never come back and tell anybody how enjoyable it was or how good the food was. Just say, oh man, the conference, and then we were at the booth, and we were at the kind of like conference, and we worked our butt off. We covered like 15,000 customer contact list, and we did this, and we just went home and back to the hotel after the event, and we just crashed and then came back. Don't say like, oh yeah, that was amazing, man. We did the conference and we were in Hawaii, and and then the food was great, and there was a boat trip included, and it was like wine, and it was so much fun, and there was this mingle thing that was going on where it was included in the conference, and we had so much fun. Don't do that. Don't do that. Everyone will smile and laugh and say how great that was, but in your team, that's not gonna fly, man. They were at the desks. They were doing their jobs. They stayed there until 9 p.m. They didn't have fun. So you don't do that. You just don't. Okay? This is not England. This is not America. This is Japan. So anyway, today's video is about being humble. Being humble and putting up the facade of tatemae. Now in Japan we have tatemae and we have hone. Tatemae is a facade and hone is the bones. The bones are honest. You will not find many honest bones in a Japanese company. Everybody has their facade. Junior level, senior level. The more senior you get, the more facade there is. So anyway, coming back to the point is, if you're in a junior position, you moved into Japan, working for a Japanese company, or you're working in a team where there are Japanese players within your team, and this is Japan, learn to read the room, learn to work smart. And for another video, there is what we call wa. Don't disturb the wa. And to read the air is kukiyomu, okay? To read the air, right? But the wa is a whole nother level. That is to not disturb the peace, or not to disturb the essence of things, okay? Now that's another level. Now that's a whole nother video, okay? But anyway, keep following, keep subscribing, and step by step, if you watch back on all of these videos, you'll have a step-by-step guide on how to survive and how to make your life a little bit easier, and to home in on the perfect situation of how to survive here for the least work, the best money, and the least stress. Thanks for watching, and bye from Tokyo.